Hey there, fellow adventurers in the land of romance. Today we're diving deep into the playful world of flirting, and specifically, how to escape the dreaded friend zone. We've got this awesome source. It's basically a guide to boosting attraction. And whether you want to level up your own flirting game, or maybe you understand the psychology behind it, or just have some fun with us, you're in the right place.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? The source dives right into the heart of it, saying that flirting is the key difference between sending those just friends vibes and those, hey, I'm interested vibes.
Kind of get a light bulb moment, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about being nice, it's about sending those subtle sparks. And speaking of sparks, our source has this super intriguing tactic called the let me guess trick.
Yeah, this one really stood out to me. The source claims humor can make someone 40% more attractive. I mean, that's a big boost. Imagine ditching the typical, what do you do?
Uh-huh.
And instead saying something like, let me guess, you're a secret agent with a passion for underwater basket weaving.
Uh-huh. Okay, maybe not exactly that. But you get the idea. It's about being playful and unexpected, and showing that you don't take yourself too seriously. And this isn't just some random advice either. It actually ties into some pretty cool psychology.
I love that about this source. It connects these techniques to actual research. Like, for example, humor, right? It triggers positive emotions, shows confidence, and it can even make you more memorable.
So it's not just about being funny, but about creating that positive connection and showing you're comfortable in your own skin. Now, another technique that stood out to me is the absurd replies approach. Have you ever heard of this
Oh,
one?
absolutely. This is where you respond to questions in a completely unexpected, over-the-top way. Like the source gives this example. Someone asks you what you do for a living, and you just reply with, I'm a professional unicorn trainer.
Haha, I love that. It's definitely a way to stand out from the crowd, but wouldn't that be a bit too much for some people?
Well, that's the beauty of it. It's not about being literal, right? It's more about sparking that curiosity and showcasing your playful side. I mean, think about it. We're bombarded with information constantly. So to be memorable, you need to break through the noise, and sometimes a little absurdity is the perfect way to do that.
So it's about creating that element of surprise, that what are they going to say next kind of feeling. And it's not just about the humor, is it? It's about showing you're not afraid to be different,
Yeah.
to embrace your own quirks.
Exactly. And from a psychological perspective, this taps into something called the von Restorff effect,
Mm.
which basically says we tend to remember things that stand out as unique or unusual.
Okay, so that's two techniques down. And I'm already feeling more confident about my flirting game. Now, the source also mentions this idea of playful disqualification,
Right.
irresistible, which sounds kind of counterintuitive.
I know, right? It's like you're playfully rejecting someone, but in a way that actually makes them more intrigued. Like one example they give is saying something like, oh, you love pineapple on pizza. I thought we were meant to be, but this changes everything.
Haha. So it's like a teasing rejection, but it's meant to be flirty and lighthearted.
Yeah.
What's the psychology behind this, though? Why would playfully pushing someone away actually make them more interested?
Well, it goes back to that idea of creating intrigue and a sense of challenge. You see, we're naturally drawn to things that are slightly out of reach. And this technique taps into that dynamic. Plus, it shows you're not afraid to be a bit cheeky and playful, which can be very attractive.
So it's like a delicate dance of pushing and pulling, keeping things interesting and unpredictable. I can definitely see how that would create some sparks. All right, let's keep exploring these tactics. What's next on our list of flirting secrets?
Well, the source then talks about the love warning, which is a really bold move. It's essentially playfully warning the other person
Hmm.
that they might fall for you if you keep talking.
Wow, that does sound bold. It's like you're planting the seed of attraction in their mind, but doing it in a playful, confident way. I guess it's all about owning your worth and expressing it, but in a way that's not arrogant, right?
Right. It's about showing you're aware of your own attractiveness, but not taking yourself too seriously. And this actually ties into a lot of research on confidence and attraction. Studies have shown that people who are confident are perceived as more attractive and desirable.
That makes sense. It's not about being cocky. It's about that inner self-assurance that shines through. Okay, I'm definitely adding love warning to my flirting repertoire. What else does this source have in store for us?
Well, if you're looking for a fun way to break the ice and create a connection, they suggest the secret challenge.
Ooh, a challenge. Tell me more.
So it's about engaging in some friendly competition, which can actually release dopamine, that feel-good chemical in our brains, the source gives the example of, challenging someone to a dog breed naming contest, or seeing who can come up with the silliest knock-knock joke.
That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating a shared experience, something to laugh about,
Mm,
and building a positive association with each other. I love how this tactic combines playfulness with a bit of psychology.
exactly. It's all about creating a memorable interaction that goes beyond small talk. And hey, the dopamine release is a nice bonus.
Okay, I'm ready to challenge someone to a pun-off right now. But first,
Right.
let's keep digging into this source. What other flirting gems can we uncover?
Next up, we've got the whisper test, which is all about creating a sense of intimacy and intrigue. The source suggests leaning in and teasing a secret, even if it's something silly.
Woo! That's a good one. I remember reading somewhere that whispering can actually activate the brain's pleasure centers. Like you're creating this instant connection, this little bubble of intimacy.
Yeah, it's about breaking down those physical and emotional barriers, but doing it in a playful and subtle way. Think about it. When someone whispers to you, you naturally lean in to listen. It creates this instant closeness and a sense of shared secrets.
So it's not just about the words themselves, it's about the way you deliver them. The tone of voice, the body language, like you're sending a secret message. That only they can hear. All right, I'm definitely adding the whisper test to my flirting arsenal. What else is on the menu?
Now, let's talk about the I bet you didn't know tease. This one's all about piquing curiosity and making yourself memorable.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does that work?
So the source suggests casually mentioning something unique or unexpected about yourself, something that makes you stand out. You could say something like, I bet you didn't know I can juggle flaming bowling pins. Or, I once won a staring contest with an owl.
Haha, I love that. It's like you're giving them a glimpse into your personality,
Yeah.
leaving them wanting to learn more. It's a subtle way to spark their curiosity
Yeah.
and make them remember you.
Exactly. We're naturally drawn to people who are a bit mysterious, who have stories to tell. And this technique is a great way to subtly showcase those aspects of yourself.
So it's about being authentic,
Yeah.
sharing a bit of yourself, but leaving them wanting more. It's a perfect blend of intrigue and self-expression. All right, let's keep this flirting train rolling. What's the next stop on our journey?
The final technique from the source is the double take. It's all about noticing small details and making the other person feel seen.
Oh, I like this one already. It's about making someone feel special, like you're actually paying attention to them.
Exactly. The idea is to do a playful double take. If you notice something unique about the other person, maybe a cool piece of jewelry, a quirky t-shirt, or even just a nice smile, you could say something like, wait, is that a first edition copy of Pride and Prejudice you're reading?
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Or, hold on, did you just wink at me?
So it's like you're acknowledging their presence in a fun, flirty way, making them feel like they stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, and this actually connects to some interesting research on social psychology. Studies have shown that people feel more connected to those who notice and appreciate the little things about them. It shows you're paying attention and that you genuinely find them interesting.
So it's not just about flattery. It's about genuine observation and appreciation. It's about making someone feel seen and understood, even in a brief interaction.
Exactly, and that can be a powerful foundation for building attraction and connection.
All right, so we've uncovered a whole treasure trove of flirting techniques. It's like we've been on a crash course in the art of attraction.
It really has been quite a journey, and what's fascinating is how all of these techniques tie into basic human psychology, whether it's humor, confidence, or the power of play. They're all designed to tap into our natural desires and motivations.
It's like we've decoded the secret language of flirting. But before we get too carried away with our newfound flirting prowess, let's take a moment to digest all this information. There's a lot to unpack here, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What stood out to you the most from all these techniques?
You know what really struck me is how much emphasis the source puts on playfulness and authenticity. It's a good reminder that flirting shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's about having fun, being yourself, and enjoying the process of connecting with someone new.
I completely agree. It's about letting go of those inhibitions, embracing the awkwardness, and just being present in the moment.
And I think that's a really important message for anyone who's feeling a little hesitant or unsure about flirting. It's not about being perfect or having all the right lines. It's about being genuine, playful, and letting your personality shine through.
So true. And remember, even if you don't hit it off with every single person you flirt with, that's okay. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become, and the more likely you are to find someone who's a great match for you.
Absolutely. It's all about embracing the journey and having fun along the way.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm going to leave you with a thought-provoking question, something to ponder. As you navigate the world of flirting and relationships,
I love it. Hit us with that final thought.
right here it is, do you think these flirting tactics would work for you? Why or why not? What are your own personal strengths when it comes to connecting with others?
That's a great question, and it's something I encourage everyone to reflect on. We all have our own unique ways of communicating and expressing our interests. The key is to find what works for you and to have fun with it.
Exactly. And remember, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to flirting. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about experimenting, finding your own style, and being confident in who you are.
Yeah, it's so true. And, as we think about these techniques, what really stands out to me is how they kind of shift the focus away from trying to impress someone, simply creating a fun and engaging interaction.
Absolutely. It's like you're inviting the other person to play along,
Yeah.
to join you in this little world of playful banter and shared laughter.
Yeah, and I think that's a much healthier and more authentic approach than trying to put on some kind of facade or force a connection.
Right. It's about letting your personality shine through and seeing if there's a natural spark. Now, one thing that keeps coming up in this source is the importance of confidence. It's like the secret ingredient that makes all these flirting techniques work.
It's true. The source emphasizes that confidence isn't just about physical appearance. It's about that inner belief in yourself, that sense of self-worth that radiates outwards.
Yeah, it's like that magnetic pull that draws people in. And the cool thing is, even if you don't feel super confident all the time, you could actually fake it till you make it.
That's such a good point. By using these playful techniques, by putting yourself out there and taking risks, you can actually boost your own confidence in the process. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's like a confidence muscle
Yeah.
that you can strengthen over time. And the more you use it, the more natural and effortless it becomes.
Exactly. And what's also really interesting is how the source connects these flirting techniques to the science of attraction. It's not just about giving you a list of tricks. It's about helping you understand the psychology behind why they work.
Yeah, it's like a peek behind the curtain of human behavior. Like when we talked about humor earlier, the source explained how laughter triggers the release of endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in our brains.
Right. And those endorphins create a positive association with you, making you more memorable and likable. It's like you're literally hacking into their brain chemistry.
Okay, maybe not hacking, but you get the idea. It's about understanding those subtle triggers that create attraction and connection.
And another important aspect of flirting is being aware of social cues and respecting boundaries. It's a two-way street, and it's crucial to pay attention to how the other person is responding.
Absolutely. Enthusiastic consent is key in any interaction, especially when it comes to flirting. It's about creating a playful and enjoyable experience for both people involved.
Exactly. It's about reading the signals, being respectful of the other person's space, and adjusting your approach accordingly.
So it's not just about blindly following these techniques. It's about being mindful, being present in the moment, and adapting to the situation.
And what's also really important to remember is that flirting isn't just about finding a romantic partner. It's a skill that can enhance any social interaction, whether it's networking, making new friends, or simply brightening someone's day.
That's such a great point. It's about cultivating that playful, engaging energy that makes you a more magnetic and enjoyable person to be around.
Exactly. It's about bringing a little bit of spark and joy to every interaction.
Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into the art of flirting, I'm curious to know, what's resonating with you the most? What are your biggest takeaways from this exploration of flirting techniques and the psychology behind them?
Honestly, what strikes me most is how much power we actually have to influence our interactions and create connections. It's not about waiting for someone to sweep us off our feet. It's about actively engaging with the world and putting ourselves out there.
I love that. It's about taking ownership of our social lives and creating the kind of connections we want.
Exactly. And it all starts with that willingness to be playful, to be confident, and to embrace the joy of human connection.
So beautifully said. Now, before we move on to our final thoughts on this fascinating topic, I want to pose one more question to you, our listener. Think back to all the techniques we've discussed, from the let me guess trick to the double take. Which one resonated with you the most? Which one are you most excited to try out in your own life?
That's such a great question to consider. And as you reflect on that, think about why that particular technique appeals to you. Does it align with your personality? Does it feel like something that you could genuinely incorporate into your interactions?
It's all about finding those tools that feel authentic to you, those techniques that you can use to express your unique charm and personality.
And remember, the most important thing is to have fun with it. Flirting shouldn't feel like a chore or a performance. It should be a playful, enjoyable way to connect with others and brighten your day.
So embrace the awkwardness,
Mhm.
embrace the laughter, and most importantly, embrace the possibility of creating something special.
And with that, let's move on to our final thoughts and wrap up this deep dive into the fascinating world of flirting.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the art of flirting, I keep thinking about how much of it boils down to just simple human connection. It's about stepping out of our comfort zones, being a little vulnerable,
Yeah.
and expressing our interest in someone.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in needing like the perfect line or, the perfect move, but it's really more about the energy you bring to the table and the genuine interest you show.
Right. And remember those endorphins we were talking about earlier? Well, it turns out genuine laughter and shared joy can be even more powerful than any clever pickup line.
Absolutely. It's about creating those moments where you both just light up, where you feel that spark of connection, even if it's just for a fleeting moment.
Yeah, and something else this source made me think about is how flirting, even if it doesn't lead to romance, can still enrich our lives in so many ways. It can boost our confidence, help us make new friends, and just make us feel more alive and connected to the world around us.
I love that perspective. It's like a reminder that every interaction has the potential to be meaningful, to bring a little bit of joy and sparkle to our day.
Exactly. And I think that's a beautiful takeaway from this deep dive. It's not just about finding a partner. It's about embracing those moments of connection, those little sparks of human interaction that make life more vibrant.
So well said. And even if some of those flirting techniques that we discussed today feel a little out there for you, even if you're not ready to try them all, I hope this deep dive has at least given you a fresh perspective on the art of flirting and the psychology behind it.
Me too.
Uh,
Maybe, just maybe, it's inspired you to be a little more playful, a little more confident, and a little more open to connecting with the amazing people all around you.
So go out there, embrace those moments of awkwardness and laughter, and see what sparks you can ignite. You never know what amazing connections you might make along the way.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep those conversations flowing.